So I'm going to talk about the big announcement that everyone in the Harry Potter world has been talking about over the past week and a half. So this all started when supposedly JK Rowling said in an interview that she regrets putting Hermione and Ron together. It has created something of an uproar in the Harry Potter community. Here's the thing though, the rest of that interview with JK Rowling is not actually going to be released until Friday. Disclaimer, I'm filming this on Thursday right now, Friday is tomorrow, so I don't know when this video is getting up. So if I'm talking about something in this video that you're like, whoa, girl, things have changed so much since back then, you'll know why. My concern right now is that her interview could have been taken out of context, and the quote that people keep using, she never actually says in that quote that, you know, she wishes she had done it differently. She says something along the lines of how she put Hermione and Ron together to fulfill some sort of self-wish, I suppose, as opposed to for a specific literary reason. Then it goes on to say something about how Emma Watson discusses how the two of these characters would have had counseling later on in life because their relationship would have been difficult. And I just kind of feel like a lot has been inferred from those statements because JK Rowling has just said, I put these two characters together because I wanted to and not for any other reason. People seem to just be assuming from that she regretted putting them together, but I don't really read it like that. So we'll have to wait until the article comes out. But here is my personal opinion on the subject. Ron and Hermione are my faves. I have always felt a sort of kindred spirit with Hermione. I know it sounds kind of weird, but as a kid I looked up to Hermione and she was a role model for me. I really love her character and I really identify with her character. Because I was totally a know-it-all as a kid. Terrible, but as somebody who thinks that my personality type is fairly similar to Hermione's, I feel like I do have a little bit of knowledge of the type of person that maybe would be good for her. Although maybe I don't know what type of person is good for me. But I've always felt like Ron was a really good character for her to end up with because I think he balances her out really well. For me, being somebody who is generally a little bit more serious when it comes to most things, it's nice to have somebody around that is a bit of a goofball and makes jokes and can make you laugh because it keeps things light. But in the opposite respect, somebody who is a jokester and kind of fooling around and doesn't maybe care as much, because Ron doesn't ever really try very hard at school and doesn't care about stuff like that, but Hermione always grounds him. So I think they balance each other really well, in my personal belief. I like the fact that they were really good friends before they decided to have a more romantic relationship. I think that's really realistic for the type of person that Hermione is. I just feel like those are the kind of relationships that for people like me are ones that are actually gonna last a long time because you know the person well, you have a pretty good idea whether or not they're going to work out. I totally agree with what Emma Watson said when she suggested that Ron and Hermione would have to have counseling. Yeah, because think about what kind of things they've been through. They've been through some horrifying events together, and in some ways that is partly why they are also the perfect couple, because they can relate to each other on that front, and if they have any sort of post-traumatic stress disorder, they can be there for each other. But in other ways, they didn't experience it as directly as Harry Potter did, and I think that's why they still are more equal on that front, where they both experienced it in some ways firsthand, but in a lot of ways secondhand. They never were the ones to directly deal with Lord Voldemort, and they were never, you know, the ones to have to deal with all this internalized anxiety that Harry Potter went through in the same way that he did. I just feel like they are a really good couple. Because of people starting to debate about whether or not Ron and Hermione should have ended up together, people are saying that Harry and Hermione should have ended up together. So then because people were saying that, you know, Harry and Hermione should have ended up together, Harry and Ginny were awful, here's the thing. I didn't like the Harry and Ginny relationship that came out of the movies. I personally didn't feel like it was very well developed to the point where it would be believable that they would actually end up together. However, in the books, I totally think it was awesome. But the big reason why I think that Harry and Ginny actually work as a really good couple is because they both know what it's like to be directly manipulated by Lord Voldemort. In the second book, Ginny was completely taken over by him. That would have been the most frightening experience of a little girl's life, and she went through that when she was 11 years old. So they both sort of had these traumatic experiences directly with Lord Voldemort that I think would allow them to be able to relate in that way. In a lot of ways, I also think that Ginny is a lot like Mrs. Weasley, where she is a fairly nurturing character. She seems to be very aware of what's going on around her. So I really think that she would be a good person for Harry to have around. I think that she would be that type of person that would listen to him if he actually wanted to talk, which, I mean, it's Harry. I think that JK Rowling's decision to make Harry and Ginny a couple and to make Ron and Hermione a couple was great. I also kind of love the fact that now they're just one big happy family. It's kind of silly, you know, when you think about it like that, but I like it. I think that there would be genuine chemistry there. So I am kind of hoping that her interview was taken out of context, but we'll find out. So if you have any opinions on this subject, then please comment down below, because I would love to hear how you guys feel about this subject. So that's it for this one. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!